Got a call on this walk-in. It's leaking water, and the coil, I'll show you the coil, has a frost pattern that looks like it's low on charge. Like the top half of the coil's iced up, and then water's getting into the box. So we're gonna move all this stuff, crack her open, and take a look. A little capsule pack unit. And then no ladder needed today. We got the stairs right here. We can just hop on in. Hop on in and play. All right, that's better. Here we go, number one. The Buggo. All right, I got the cover off. Looks like a Danfoss compressor. Look at that frost pattern on the TXV. Okay. Contactor, thermostat, fan motor, all the basics. We do got high head pressure protection. I like that. There are fittings on here. No sight glass because this is a critically charged system, so I get that. We'll have to find the nameplate. And you don't really need a sight glass if it's a weighed-in system because it's a capsule pack. Let's see what we got here. Oh, turbo air. Let's see what we got. 28 ounces, 404. Cool. Easy enough. Ugh, condensate discharge loop looking suspect. It's got that solid state thermostat. There we go. With a contactor. So that's nice. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to get this evaporator section cover off next. There it is, funny frost pattern. Condensate drain's plugged for sure. Let's see if I can get that blown out. All right, so if you're a new tech watching my videos on a job like this, I know what I'm up against. It's gonna make a big old mess. So the first thing I did is I went and told the guys, hey, this is gonna make a big old mess in there. And they're cool with it. They're all like, hey, it's already a mess right now. I was gonna blow the condenser coil out with nitrogen, but after talking with the guys, the area that it's in, they're cleaning out some tanks, they're cleaning the kegs. They don't want dust in there. And that's another thing to check with your customer too, if you have the time to do that. Let me get a sip of water here. You see what's gonna be better, to wash the coil or to blow it out. Now I would have rather preferred to blow that coil out. I'm gonna blow the drain line out. The drain line's still plugged. I would have liked to have back blown that condenser. With the nitro, it's not gonna happen right here. So I'm gonna end up washing it with the Sunjo and some coil cleaner. And that's gonna add to my water mess, but we're already on board with the water mess. We discussed it. So that's a little heads up on that. I'm gonna get the gear together here and I'll meet you guys back on top of the box. All right, we're back on top of the box. She really ain't draining. So I always think about how I could go with making the least amount of mess, and I'm gonna go ahead and blow this out. This is gonna overflow, right? It's not big enough to handle all that. So probably I'll string an extension cord up and bring my shop vac up here to try and keep myself from swimming in it, because we're gonna end up swimming in it. Now, with a frost pattern like that, I'm thinking low on charge, or maybe my TXV is not feeding right. And look at the frost pattern on that TXV. That looks real terrible. That has the look of like a gummed up expansion valve to me. We won't know until we get everything situated here. Clean coils, unit back together, and then we can gauge up on it and see what's wrong with this system. So let's go ahead and blow this drain out. I'm just gonna back blow it. Got her. Here she comes. There she goes. Ooh, chug a lug. I better get the shop vac. Return of the Sunjo. There she is. They had hot water, so I was able to fill Sunjo with hot water. And I'm gonna try and melt this ice off of there. Figured hot water would be the fastest. We'll go for it. Power is killed. Now we're ready to melt ice. I got the vacuum. I'm gonna try and help out too. Try and go a little slower. You guys running a stopwatch? Little spray back. Get the vacuum going. Half of that out of there. That was half of it. I chopped it out of there. And we'll chop the other half off. All right, so it's melt the ice, get the chunks out, suck up the water. It's a lot of work on a little box like this, but it's got to be done. Let's unload, fill up. Unload, fill up. Well, that's a wrap. This thing, don't buy these. This one's broke again, leaking. I just got it back from them. Total garbage. I'm done. And I'm just gonna run the Rinse Kit Pro. Cost a lot of money, but it's built not to last. This thing's junk. That's only my second time using it since I got it back from the warranty. And it's garbage. All right, now that all the ice is gone, I cleaned up a little bit. Sun Joe puked all over itself again. Frickin' Sun Joe. The fitting going to the pump actually like cross-threaded from the factory and is kind of gone, so I PVC glued on it, and we'll give it another try, see if it'll work like that. It's in the truck drying now. Don't buy those, they're low quality. Okay. The ice never made it to the defrost probe, but we'll ohm the probes out because that's easy to do. They're right there. And we'll get an ohms reading on the probes and see if the probes are okay. And then I'm going to let the fan run, dry the coil out, and then we'll gauge up on it and we'll get our restart going. All right, I couldn't show you the ohms because I only had one hand. Both probes are reading 8.6K ohms, so the probes are good. I'm feeling good about that. I'm gonna let the fan run for a bit, dry the coil out, and then I'm gonna get the gauges. We'll get gauged up. And this box is 404A. Well, that condenser coil was blue. It was a blue anodized coil. You would have never known that. Holy moly, that thing was dirty. My goodness. Okay, I'm about ready to restart this. I am going to check my compressor superheat. I don't care about the subcooling on this little unit. It's going to get funky readings right now because the condensate pan's full of water and we washed the coil. So I should see lower than normal readings until things dry up. But let's go ahead and fire it back off. There's a time delay on these thermostats. Not much. And let's let this rip. And I might even end up blocking off the condenser at some point. But we'll let it run and equalize out and see how it does here. So I went ahead and blocked off the condenser to get the head pressure up. And you'll see the suction will come up too. It's just everything's so wet and cold. That would look good if it was a freezer. So let me try and get things dried out here, and then we can get a good look at it. Look at the TXV already. I don't like that. I bet you that thing's gummed up. Could have the gum, or it could be low on charge. The only way we're going to find out if this is low on charge is we'll have to recover the charge and weigh it out, which we're probably going to end up doing. So let's let it equalize out for a minute. So it's got the telltale signs to me like it's low on charge. Low suction, low head, frost pattern on a TXV. And part of that discharge line looked a little oily to me. Right back there. And so I'm going to fire off the H10. I got some soap bubbles. So instead of just going recovery way, I'm going to do a leak check. See if I get any indication. I still got 149.8 on the high side. So there's plenty of pressure in there if it's a weeper. Then on this one here, I might actually order up the condensate loop from Turbo Air. You got to it looks like you got to take the compressor off to fish it in there. Recover the charge, pull the compressor, take a few brackets out, put it in, get it back in there, and then braze it back up, discharge line, and then coming out to your condenser. It's getting a faint hit around this T. But not off the condensate loop. Definitely more up here. Let me check that goofy solenoid. Let me show you guys how good the H10 is. It was picking up sniffs down all the way down there. The leak's right here. Big old leak. That happens a lot on these damn H.V.A.C units. There's the leak right there. They always take a shit right there. So I had to get him a new compressor. That's not gonna fix. You're not scrubbing off on that, and you're not welding on it. That's the actual metal of the compressor. And it rusts out where it floods back. Well, if we're gonna do the compressor, we might as well do the condensate loop. And that's how you dig into a walk-in box. And the call was just for a condensate leak. Water in the box. There it is. That's how big the leak is. That thing's done. All right. So that one's a wrap for tonight. It's getting late. What are we at? 6:47 p.m. I'll get a hold of Turbo Air. I think I'll source the parts from Turbo Air. That's a 208, 230 volt compressor, even though it's tiny. So I'll try and source that from Turbo Air. I want to see if I can get that condensate loop OEM too, because it had a nice, it'll fit right in there, you know what I'm saying? I could bend one up out of 3/8 copper if I have to. It's not a big deal, but if I'm going to order the compressor from Turbo Air, maybe they'll have that too. We'll see how the supply chain's looking. That box ain't going to cool. That leak's too big, as you saw in that last shot. It just leaks the gas out to where it'll equalize and not piss out so hard. So I've seen that on those Danfoss compressors. They had a lot of those Danfoss compressors in the little tiny Manitowocks, and they would do the same thing. So if you get a leak on one of those under-counter Manitowocks, check the suction line tube at the compressor. I had I've found over the years a ton of those leaking, just like that compressor's leaking, same way. All right, I hope you liked that part of the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe down there, click, 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 and we'll catch you on the next one.